not having a dad just made me really want to be the best dad I could possibly be. What were the things I would have liked my dad to do with me? When did I miss him the most? And so I was just that dad to my children.
Yeah. I just would have thought that most men wouldn't have wanted to go waist below, but I've since found out that most men do want to see the whole thing.
I've heard a guy saying it's like watching his favourite pub burn down.
Oh my God.
I was trapped in my own body just because my hormones were dropping. And even now, being pregnant now, the fear of returning back to that place is so frightening.
Guys, episode 3.
Yes.
We are back and we're joined by the lovely Patrick Hutchinson.
Baby and
Welcome.
Hi.
Fellow South Londoner. How are we doing today?
I'm well. I'm doing
Looking very, very smart as always.
Oh, thank you. I don't know about that, but...
Most people know you from the picture that went viral back in 2020, and that was you carrying a counter-protester to safety in the Black Lives Matter protest. But we would like to know a little bit more about the person behind the picture, because I don't think anyone's really delved into that. You're a dad to 4, granddad to 4. We just want to know a little bit more about that process of fatherhood.
I was, I think, about 19 when the news broke to me that...
The news broke to me. Genuinely is what it feels like.
No, it does.
What did you feel like when you first, when your missus was like, we're having a baby? At 19 years old, what the hell do you think?
When you're just a baby.
And, she was even younger than me. And to be honest, it was like, in my head, it was like, hell no. Like, hell no. That's in my head. I'd never said that openly. But inside, I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
Do you feel like as the dad in that decision, it's primarily the woman's decision and you therefore just have to go along with it so it takes your control away?
From my perspective, yes. I mean, everybody has differing perspectives. Some men will probably disagree with me, but for me,
that's what it felt
the
like.
The woman has to carry the child for 9 months. I can't imagine me dictating to a woman, yes, you're going to have the baby, no, you're going to have, it's totally I'm supporting you in whatever decision you decide to make. I'm there to support. Deep down, I didn't want a son at that stage of my life, but I was ready to, be a father and do what was necessary because I grew up without one. And there's no way I was going to let that history repeat itself. So my son is 35. He's my firstborn. My second is my daughter, who is 30. And then I have massive gap. And then I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Wow.
Love that. We've got to come back to that.
Yeah, we need to talk about the massive gap.
So how does a 19-year-old compared to the older version of you? How did he turn up as a parent?
It's literally night and day. The things that I think about my son, we have conversations now about it, and I think my poor son, like what you had to go through with not just me, his mum too, versus the versions of us now.
Yeah. The first one's a prototype.
Two different men. My youngest two, they can do everything. They've done everything from gymnastics to swimming. They can do literally everything because they've been exposed to everything.
Do you feel like you could provide for them?
You could, exactly, and it's a financial thing as well, isn't it?
And even in terms of the emotional development of you as a person, and what you can deliver and give to and teach a child, is completely different.
My lived experience is so much different. I mean, my youngest 2 children, especially Kendall, the youngest, they're growing up with a dad who's quite well known. So as far as Kendall's concerned, her dad's famous. And she lets you know about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's different to navigate.
People.
I tell you what, now that I've become a mum, I know that no matter what age you have a child, something just clicks inside of you and you just, a lot of the time, pull yourself together. But I couldn't imagine having a baby that young because I feel like it's such an evolutionary stage of your life. I feel like it probably sends you on this completely different path of learning and experiences that you may have had or that you may have not had the chance to have. And me personally, I'm so grateful that I've been able to have a baby later on in my life, because I feel like I've been able to look back and be like, oh, I've like lived, I've moved countries, I've never had that feeling of having to be tied down. But I can also see how if that experience happens when you're younger, you're probably a really different person now and a well-rounded person in a way that I'm only experiencing now.
Our generation, I think, has maybe because we've had kids later, we've done a bit more travelling and independence before we've then settled down and have our kids. When I had a kid, I was so shocked by it all. I was like, oh my God, I'm someone's 24/7 carer now. And I was never very good at looking after myself anyway. So I was just like,
Good luck.
wow. Yeah. Ooh. So it's just such a shock to the system. So yeah, to be able to do that at 20 years old, when you're still growing into yourself as a person anyway.
You go through your firstborn.
Yeah.
I suppose you have that journey. And then when does your second born arrive?
And then my second, like 5 years later.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's my daughter.
That's your daughter,
My oldest daughter.
Right.
So what's the how are you turning up in this? Who is this parent and how is this parent different?
It was, I think, just from the male-female perspective, changed the dynamics so much. Like, of course, I loved my son.
Yeah.
But I guess I had a bit of an old schooly way of raising him. You know, a tough love type of way of raising him, which was kind of what things were like back then. And I never had a
Reference.
Exactly, reference point. I never had a dad around, so I had to sort of make it up as I went along. And I thought that was the best way to make him be a sturdy, strong,
That's what you
Resilient
see,
guy,
though, isn't
yeah.
it? That's what you're.
That's what kind of what you saw on
you
television, and that's what you thought you needed to be. And so having my daughter now, I was complete opposite. I was just super soft, and I always thought to myself, and I still believe this now, when I think about my 3 girls, I think to myself, if I could love a woman the way I love my daughters, that would be the luckiest woman on this planet. And if men could do that, literally love their partners, how they love their daughters.
I feel like it's the same for women and their sons.
Do you know what I think it is? I also was thinking about this, but I think it's when you're in the dynamics of a sexual relationship, a relationship that has exchanges, there's things that you expect from somebody, whether it's conscious or unconscious, right? But a child doesn't expect anything from you apart from asking you to be you. Yeah. They just want you to be you. They just want you to see them. Yeah. And that's it. And being in that space allows you to drop all of the ego and just turn up as you are and let everything, all the love exchange evenly, because there's no expectations of...
And you walk in the room and they're like, and you've literally just shown up in the room.
Oh, I've had a lot of friends being like, oh, I'm a bit nervous to have babies. And I said, like, if you don't want to, that's fine. I could completely imagine my life without children. I would never want it now. But sometimes you wish you could bottle that feeling and just let somebody else experience and be like, it's going to be okay. Because that unconditional love, or that like feeling of just like so wholeheartedly loving someone, that you're right, that it's not an exchange.
Being a parent is literally the best thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
But one of the hardest things in the world at the same time.
Yeah.
It's one of the most rewarding,
Definitely.
so difficult, but it's the best thing ever. You wouldn't change it. Like most parents wouldn't change it.
4 kids in, and
and I'm still saying that.
I'm 3 months in, and I'm like,
As mothers, we joke around what we feel the hardships of fathers are. Do you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the time we're just taking the piss, right? Because
I'm not.
Holly's definitely not. She's real. She's keeping it real.
Like, sometimes you've got to do it to laugh, because our hardships, from my personal view, our hardships are our own, but our hardships are also the experience of the men that we're with, the children that we have. So what would you say is like the hardships that you've personally experienced when it comes to like being a father or being in a relationship.
I know, like, lots of my friends talk about how they turn up and they feel like not good enough.
Yeah.
A lot of dads have said to me, just in conversation, that I suppose I feel like I have a place, but I don't.
Yeah.
Especially in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
It feels, and especially if their partner's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
There's just this whole, where's my place? What do I do? What can I do to help? And even the stuff that I can do, am I helping? Am I just aggravating the situation?
Yeah, I never felt like that. I never felt. I have friends that did, feel left out, felt sort of almost like ignored now that the baby had arrived and stuff. But I never felt like that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was brilliant. More time to go to the gym, or more time
I was
to do
going to say,
whatever. More time.
Do you know what made us laugh when you said that? Because we know that's how all dads feel. But I tell you what, postpartum, when my man was going to the gym, I was like...
And nice for you to be able to go to
It wasn't even that I
stand up.
cared that he was going to the gym. It was the jealousy and resentment of his independence, that he could just get up and go to the gym.
That's what it is.
But it makes me laugh because from every single mother I've known, when that man gets up and goes for a run a week postpartum or goes to the gym, you're just like seething on the inside. Whereas for you guys, you do genuinely think this is easy. Like this is, we've got this.
Vagina's hanging out. Like,
Literally there. And it's interesting to hear from your perspective, because on your side, you're like, well, I'm going to help where I can, and I'm going to go and just feel good as well, so that I can come back home and be
the best version of myself.
And just and be here and support my woman. But I suppose it's a really hard thing to like navigate, because you want to. Like you want them to do, you want your partner to go and feel good about himself. But at the same time, you're like, well, I'm at home and I can't do those things, but you signed up for it.
You know what? I never really looked at it from that perspective. Like, I'm working on my body and yours is falling apart.
Yeah.
Falling apart, my friend.
Inside out.
Because I knew that as soon as my children became toddlers, I know that
That's when you feel like you're...
That's when you come
definitely I'm
into
going to have a
Step
lot
in.
more say. But during this period, it's a very, very an intimate moment between mummy and baby, and I totally got it. One of the other things I wanted to touch on when you first asked the question was one of the things that really impacted my relationships was that this love that I had for my daughters, it was so deep that I couldn't love two women like that. So, so all of my children's mums will say the same thing, that, our relationships were affected because having a girl and the love I was pouring into my daughter, I never had enough love to give to their mums as well. Because you have men who will always be more into their partner than their own children. There are men that exist like that. And there are men that are more into the children than their partner. And there are probably men that can probably do it 50-50. But
I feel like a lot of people would relate to you though, because you're so in love with your new child and all your energy is going into them, and then partner walks in the room and you're like, excuse me, I'm busy.
And I think that's, again, on our side as mothers, I think that we've all felt the same. I know I definitely did in that moment of him arriving, like, oh my God, it's just me and you, it's me and you.
Yeah.
And then I had to remember that, no, my partner's here. He was also part of it.
Still there.
He also made, he also made this beautiful human being with me.
When you've been in a relationship a while, you don't wake up every day feeling like you're in love with that person. You're still with that person because you love them.
Depends if I've had a good sleep or not.
Yeah, but exactly. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, you would get up and, like, give your all to Ezzy whether you've had a good sleep or not. A lot of relationships break down postpartum because I feel like that choice of being the part...
60%.
But, like, you have to admit, when that baby arrives... the choice of loving each other moves to the bottom of the list. It's not the priority of like, how are they going? Maybe it is at the start when the baby first comes home, and then you all go back to reality. And I feel like it just starts to drop down, and then...
So you would have... So I'm just going back to your second child, your daughter. Like having a girl child's a pretty big... For a young dad. Yeah, for a young dad.
So not having a dad just made me really want to be the best dad I could possibly be.
Which is a lot of pressure to put on
yourself. Which is a lot of pressure on yourself. And how I worked that out was that what was the dad I wanted? when I was growing up.
that's
What were
the best way to
what were the
think
things
about
I would have liked my dad to do with me? What was it? When did I miss him the most?
Yeah.
And so I was just that dad to my children.
Yeah.
I think lots of people are parenting like that.
Yeah,
Really, you're just
100%.
parenting yourself.
As I was saying earlier about, all of our relationships with our mums and dads, the good and the bad, we're going to try and do the most with our kids. And hopefully it sticks.
Kill trauma, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You're healing trauma.
I mean, sometimes it's horrible when you're dealing with a little human and you see like your weaknesses and your trauma replicated in a little person that is still growing. It's really confronting. It's probably the most confronting. I studied psychology, was a social worker, and there's nothing like when I look at Romy and I see his behaviours that replicate mine, and I just want to like punch him in the head.
That's why she's not doing that anymore.
That's why I'm no longer a social worker.
That's now void.
But there's just little things I think in your children that really trigger you.
They're supposed to.
That are supposed to, and they are really, really healing, but it's really, really hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you nurtured your daughter because you had, like, your mum was so nurturing to you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, even though she's a girl, and that kind of, I think, like, with a father-daughter relationship is a
But it's the same thing because
yeah.
my mum and son, so it's actually
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But maybe just there's like a different respect of understanding women that maybe like, you said you felt like it wasn't, you were a bit more like disciplinary with your first son, that there was just an innate understanding of women because that's what you had always experienced compared to like that, that understanding of men.
But I suppose with men or with dads and their boys, you naturally would go a little bit harder. Naturally, you would want to just be a bit more stern. And again, firstborn, stern. I look at, I suppose, how my parents were with me and then my parents were with my brother, and there's a big difference just in the discipline. And obviously, they're learning. So the second time around, they're just a lot softer.
There are some dads though that are like always want sons and always into their boys as well. There are like I guess I'm a girl dad. I guess. But there are I've got friends who are just their sons all day.
They just want boys.
They barely know what their daughters are doing or what their daughters are getting up to. And there are mums and there are mums that are really into their daughters and then maybe not so much into their.
That's true.
There is the reverse of that.
Isn't that just what you find easier to parent? That sounds like
probably you're probably right.
Because
Yeah.
I found out I'm having a girl and I was like.
Yeah, which I was surprised.
You did have a little mini meltdown.
I had a little cry.
Why?
I had a little cry and it wasn't happy tears, and Oz was just like buzzing and he looked at me and he was like, oh. And I was just like, I don't know, I instantly felt like I needed a therapist.
He probably thought, we spent all this money and you're crying.
Expensive,
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm used to a girl. I've got brothers. My mum's got 6 brothers. Oz hasn't got any sisters. So I just feel like
that's what it,
maybe I'm a boy. I've already got a boy. I just feel I feel manly.
I think that you just have to see the person. It isn't about the gender. It's about the person.
Yeah,
and you're
for
meeting
sure.
the person there and that's it.
There's so much put on the gender though, isn't there?
There is, but I think it's different experiences, right? Like I would dread having a girl and her like getting my family or Liam's family's like chunkiness. That's genuinely, and that's what stresses me out about having a girl. And that's like true to me, but that's my own experience. Yeah, exactly. But sometimes I feel like you get what you're given. Do you know what I mean?
My girl is not like my girl. She is strong and brave and like delicate, but she will punch you in the face.
She will punch you.
And I'm like, yes, I'm here for everything that you are. Like she will 100% be the person that is fighting for her brother.
Like maybe I'm just worried about projecting my views of myself onto my daughter, whereas with Luca, I don't have that same.
Because you've never experienced life as a male.
Yeah.
I think you do that as a parent anyway, regardless of being gender or not.
Yeah.
Being a boy or not.
Yeah.
It's tough now, isn't it, mate?
Like, how do you, having different children with different women, how do you give yourself to everybody equally without being in their space?
the good thing is obviously the fact that there was a gap.
Yeah.
So the first two, you know, I took care of my first two children and was with my Tyler's mum, my second child's mum for quite some time. She sees my son as her son too.
Yeah.
They have a really, really beautiful relationship.
I think what it kind of just like emphasizes is that there isn't a norm.
There's
Like
not.
the only norm that there is that building these relationships.
Yeah.
And like we think that it has to be, sometimes we think that it has to be a certain way, and it doesn't turn out like that.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is the building the relationships between however big your village is,
Yeah.
Yes.
however your family looks like. And not one family looks like a stereotypical two people in one house and that's it. Like
100%.
I always had it in my head that the person that I would meet wouldn't have another child, would be freely single.
Yeah.
But obviously I got to a certain age and the person I did meet had a child. And I feel like that was a lot for me to like take in. But at the same time, like everyone's lived a life before, you know, everyone's lived there, like they had other things going on. It probably at my age now would have felt weird had he not have had or
And that brings some positive stuff to the table.
Yeah,
actually.
definitely.
The fact that he's already a father,
does.
doing a good job,
Yeah, it does.
and
It definitely
you know he's
all
not
of
going to
these
run
things.
off.
Yeah, but selfishly, I suppose you're like, oh, I want it to be me,
Yeah, the
me.
experience,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you do have to look at it how you've said. Like there is a reason why, and also the person that I met and am with has brought something completely different and new to the table. And a level of maturity as well that I definitely needed at that point in my life. So I suppose when you ask that question about how do you
turn up,
and I don't think it's ever going to be equal, but as long as that relationship is there and exists and it's nourished, I feel like that's enough.
One of the things that I want to touch on is that I did make it my business to make sure that I had a really strong relationship with each of my children's mums. Because, you know, there are quite a few men out there like myself who do have children with, you know, multiple women, is one way of putting it. And and sometimes you don't hear the best stories because they don't see this child because they've fallen out with the mother or the mother doesn't want them to see the child or whatever I haven't got none of those stories. I've raised all of my children and I've got a good relationship with all of their mums, you know, and it's down to both parties. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the early stages when you first split, it's difficult. And it's hard because you've broken up. But once you get past that, the most important thing is the child. And the relationship that you have with each other is going to have a massive impact on the child. So if it's a negative relationship, that's going to impact your children negatively.
Yeah, so many people are like tied up. So many people can't get past that point. When they do break up, it's really difficult for them to get past that point of resentment. You did this, you hurt me, and they forget that that's not actually the important thing. The important thing is that even when you do break up with somebody, that you are constantly, if you have a child with somebody, you're forever in a relationship with somebody. And forever that relationship has to be nourished.
In whatever way that looks.
In whatever way that looks like.
It makes such a difference to the experience, right? As I said, I was having an earlier conversation with someone on Sunday, and they were like, well, how do you know it's the right person? I was like, the reality is you never will. You will never, one, feel ready to have a child, and you'll never know it's the right person. But if you could look at them and think, if we split up, my child's going to have a loving parent and we can continue to love and respect each other, your children can still raise up to be like really great kids and not like children of divorce. Like my parents split up when I was really, really young, and my mum had a million reasons to talk bad about my dad and she never did. Do you know what I mean? Like I never felt like my mum didn't love my dad or anything like that. If a child can look at both parents and think they respect each other and they love me.
It's a respect thing, isn't it?
It's a respect thing, 100%.
You've got children from different women, but they all get along really well, the children. That wouldn't have happened had there been a cut-off. And that's, again, that's
just replicated, isn't it? Like, were you at any of the births? Were you at the births?
Yes, all of them bar my sons, and that's only because I'd finished a night shift and I was driving home. And I just passed by the hospital. No, she's still okay. Like, you can go home, freshen up, come back. So I'm on London Bridge and I get a phone call and it's like,
He's East London.
you need to come back. So I literally have to spin around and got dark back. By the time I get there, he was already born. But my daughter, Tyler, her mum had an emergency C-section. We were there in the room and then they ushered us out, her mother and myself, because they said it's, we've got to cut her open, it's an emergency, so.
There's a lot going on.
So there was a lot going on and it was a bit of a panic. So we're there in a little huddle and then eventually my daughter's born, Tyler. So it's funny because Tyler, my daughter, which I'll come to, went through the same thing. And then my third daughter, I was there, saw her born. And then my last daughter, Kendall,
Does it just freak you out as a man to watch a human come out of a human? Because when I was pregnant, it used to give me the ick a little bit. I was like, this is a little bit alien, right? Like we're like living
totally
babushka dolls.
Well, I just would have thought that most men wouldn't have wanted to go waist below, but I've since found out that most men do want to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the whole thing?
Yeah, I saw.
Wow.
It happened. Both of my daughters that I actually saw born, the youngest two, happened really, really quite quickly.
Wow.
Well, Kendall, literally, her mum was just arrived and she was on all fours and then literally had to catch her. Yeah.
Like, do you stop and think there's a human coming out of the woman I love right now, or do you just click into mode where you just I just need to catch this baby?
For me, I think it was a case of I just want everybody to be okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't take for granted that they're both going to be okay. Because women die in childbirth, children die.
Yeah.
So I'm just really, really grateful and happy that they are both okay. And that's
Once you've seen a human come out of your partner's vagina,
nothing will put me off vagina. Nothing will put me off vagina. So,
because a lot of men say
that's what she does.
No, but I genuinely, it is it does make you question it because
I never questioned it once. Are you mad?
Yeah, but but Hollie, I've also met Piers, so I know that's definitely.
And you've met me.
Yeah, true.
Here we are, 3 babies later.
No, but it's just I suppose a lot of men have said.
Yeah, some
people
men,
that I know and people that I've just read articles on have said that they wouldn't want to be waist below.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a guy.
Because
I don't know if it was a comedian or something saying it's like watching his favourite pub burn down.
Oh my God.
Oh no. My God. Are you kidding me? Yeah, wow,
watch
that's
it
deep.
burn,
That's
bitch.
deep. Yeah, literally, Smoke.
And remember how the smoke got here.
Yeah.
Your
but
fault.
for you, it didn't bother you.
No, not at all.
So below the waist is actually fine.
Yeah.
I never thought it for once. Not even once.
Yeah.
No, listen, I've made a whole human for 10 months.
Yeah.
And then, not only just that, every day I sweated. Every day I felt nauseous. Every day I felt sick. And when I felt grey, I was fat.
Yeah.
And then after that, I pushed the child out of my vagina. You will enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Deal with it. What's your? I'm intrigued because you're obviously a PT. I feel like as women we have to do quite a bit of work in lead up to getting pregnant.
I was trying to get this young lady to walk up the stairs with me, but she wouldn't have it.
I went to get him and he was like, let's go up the stairs. I was like, I'm in the lift.
And she said, I'm pregnant. I said, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Get up the stairs. But
I spoke to her the other day and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, eating apple crumble. I was like, babe, it's 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, you're allowed at this
Breakfast
stage.
crumbles.
When your partner is pregnant and however many months far gone, is there anything that you are doing with yourself, mentally, physically, keeping that gym membership going? Where you just
basically,
looking
we have
after
9
yourself.
months of shit. What do you do?
Go to the gym.
Just be as supportive as possible.
Yeah,
that's
that's
all
good.
really.
Yeah.
And just, realise that you're dealing with a hormonal woman who is going to be up and down, like you just mentioned, and just, don't don't blame it on her. She's going through stuff and just be accept it.
Okay, so you suddenly become the yes man. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just yep. You make sure that you don't. There's the least negativity possible. If because obviously everything impacts the baby.
Yeah.
So you just want a very serene, a very wonderfully peaceful and loving environment.
Stress-free.
Stress-free. Yeah, that's what you want.
That's the smart answer.
That is the smart.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's the only answer.
I'm wondering what.
It's the only answer.
That's how to build, because everything's happening in the woman's body, but you're in control of the external environment. And your external environment influences the way that your baby's brain develops. And it influences the person that they'll become, the adult that they'll grow into. Like, just because it's not happening to you, there are things as a man that you can control and influence. And that's the environment that you're creating for the partner whose body is this vessel for this baby that's going to come into the world.
I mean, I had a really, really helpful partner, so I felt like always supported. But I feel like men need to know that women, we love the support, but we also need that initiative behind the support, because sometimes we just don't want people to be like, well, what can I do to help you? Like, okay, I can do this for you, but what should I get? And we know that it's men are not capable of that, because they do it at work every single day. It's like that initiative of like, I've noticed that this is missing in the fridge. I'm going to go to the shop and get that. And I feel like a lot of women struggle with that. And that would be a really helpful thing in dealing with our external environment when we're pregnant and have just had a baby.
I think that's something that women can set the tone for.
Yeah.
If you have a man who you basically tell what to do all of the time, instruct him, then he's not going to just change just because you've got a baby. Like you need to operate that way if you want that kind of a man. If that makes sense. Like when you really need him to start to think on his feet and to make his own decisions, he's not going to be able to just all of a sudden do that if he's constantly doing what you're telling him to do. You know,
that's true.
That's what I think anyway. Like
it's like a chicken and egg sometimes. You want to tell them because we want it done a specific way. And then, but we also need to let them find their feet in fatherhood and their fatherhood intuition, I guess, to be able to make those decisions we want them to make. That's not always easy. And I think most women put their hands up and be like, we just do it because it's easier sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we don't
But women
allow
are fine-tuned to see the details.
On
a biological level. And I think that's also half of the problem. Like, they can do it, but women can do it to an nth degree. And I think it's also like that emphasis of like being able to let go of the control.
Our clean is clean, you know what I mean?
Because even though when they've done it, you're sitting there going, it's not done properly, it's not done like this. I mean, that's not helpful either.
But funny enough, it does sometimes, it's reversed though. Like, you know, I'm not going to start to call out any of my partners, but I have partners who are definitely tidier than others. Who I've been tidier. I'm the best at ironing. I'm the best washer up. Like
I'm the best.
You know, like there's certain things.
You're the three.
There's certain things that, you know, not all women are homely and really, really good at housework.
So
do you know what I'm saying?
Understanding your roles without making it sound very like, you know, women can do this, men can do this, but understanding your roles within your relationship in a household as well. And just aligning that so that it makes sense to just live in a happy home and have a happy family.
What you're good at, you do like.
But it is hard, like you said, because you are this, especially as a mum, you do become this like super mum all of a sudden. I didn't think I had any of this. I mean, I knew I was organised. I didn't know I was this anal and organised until having him.
Or you have to.
Or you have to. But then you feel like, it feels like that you're the only one that can do it the way you want it, and then anything else outside of that isn't good enough. And that's not the case at all. It's just that you want it done a certain way, and it's not always done that way. You just have to allow the other person to grow and like be able to either learn to do it or just not do it, and they'll do the other stuff.
Not to go off topic, but did any of you hit any postnatal depression or anything like that?
No, it's not off topic at all, but
I think everyone did. After I stopped breastfeeding my second, because I almost back-to-back breastfed. Well, I did. And then when I stopped breastfeeding my second one, my hormones dropped so bad that literally I would sit in my bedroom thinking about jumping out the window. And I would look and I'd be like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And then I would have the narrative in my head going, who is this person? This isn't you. And then this other person would go, no, this is hard. And I think no one really ever told me that that's what could happen when you're to that nth degree of only through research did I find out that that's what was happening to me. And my husband was like, you need to go and see somebody. And when I talked to somebody about it, they were like, you need to wait it out.
Yeah.
But it was such a long slug, and I was trapped in my own body just because my hormones were dropping.
Yeah.
And even now, being pregnant now, the fear of returning back to that place is so frightening.
Yeah.
I feel like every mother does go through it, but it's dependent on their personal experience. They either feel like a bit down, and the hormones don't help, because if you're feeling lonely, then you're feeling lonely. Do you know what I mean? Because your hormones are then going...
I remember feeling so drained when I had the hormone crash after stopping breastfeeding. Just cancelled my gym membership. I was like trying to get back in shape, and I just couldn't do anything. And I had got this little baby to look after, and it was just, you feel like a stranger to yourself.
Yeah.
And like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It feels so different to what I thought it was going to be. And it's, as you say, like going back into it now, you've got the anticipation of like, how is this all going to pan out again?
Yeah,
The lows are so
And
low.
the realisation you can't control it.
You can't control it,
Apart from ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha is a lot.
Wild Nutrition.
Shout out to Wild
Ashwagandha.
Nutrition, because their
Banging.
ashwagandha is
Yeah.
it is top tier. Yeah, but
the lows are low. The lows are really, really low.
and the highs are highs.
And the highs are really high,
Yeah.
But now I'm aware. Now I'm aware, and now we understand, and now like Piers was like, now I understand, and now I'm ready if it happens again, and we know what to do.
Yeah. On the subject of mental health, we know that you work with young offenders.
Yes.
How do you feel that being a father has enabled you, or like given you some insight into working with young offenders? I used to work with young offenders, specifically boys, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best things I've ever done with my life.
I second what you say.
Yeah.
It's I've done quite a few rewarding things, but it's probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done outside of raising my children.
Yeah.
Because they're just young men. They're like my nephews or grandsons even, you know.
Yeah.
And some of their stories are really harrowing, and it makes total sense why they're in there.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and these boys are in there for some of the most heinous crimes.
Yeah.
But if you never knew what they had done, and you just spoke to them one-on-one, you'd think they were lovely young men.
Yeah.
You know, some of them haven't been raised by either parents, or they've come through the care system.
Yeah.
Their parents are, those that did have parents are on drugs.
Yeah.
Those that came up in decent households, their parents were constantly working. There's just so many different stories to all of them, and you literally wish that you could help them all, like physically be in their family and make the difference for every single one of them.
I think you showing up is enough for probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
Do you feel like being a father like helps the empathy and the unconditional love? Because I feel like if I was a social worker now, I would operate in a completely different way. And I was a great social worker, but now it'd be completely different. I feel like there's this earnestness to empathy and compassion. And
I mentioned earlier about my son and the way I raised my son. It was tough love. And versus the way I've raised my daughters was a lot more nurturing, much more loving, you know. I get to do that again with these young men. You know, if I could, you know, raise my son again, I'd be so different with him. So I get to give those young men some of the love that I possibly could have given to my son.
And that's what
What
they
would you
need,
do? Just be
isn't it?
more gentle?
Yeah, just be a lot more gentle, a lot more understanding. And just like, obviously the environment that they're in, you know, the last thing you want them to do is have a breakdown while they're in there. Or so you're definitely a lot more nurturing and a lot more caring, you know. And more, the most important thing is listening to them, because in that environment, they don't get listened to an awful lot.
Even in the friendship dynamic, listening and talking and opening that dialogue of conversation is more difficult than it is within the female dynamic.
Women talk an awful lot.
Women talk a lot. Women talk a lot.
And it's so beautiful that you can, you know, teach those boys that and teach those men that, because now they're men. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, we learn the lessons a little bit later than we should have.
Yeah.
And if we'd learnt those lessons early, it would have completely changed the path that we would be on. But more importantly, you need to learn those lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, all they needed, most of these young men, like 99.9% of them will come out one day and be doing what I'm doing, realizing that they can help. But all they really want is someone that cares. And it's as simple as that. And a lot of the time they're growing up with no one that really cares. Okay, people provide food and a roof over their head, but who actually cares and shows them love like that? Like children need that. And if they don't receive that, they'll
seek it somewhere else.
They'll seek it somewhere else. And a very extreme version of it is these young men that are inside these institutions.
It just must be so important for them to have, like, a man in that position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I loved it as a woman, but I think the reality is if you ask 99.9% of them, majority of young offenders, especially males, only have their mothers in their lives. And so to have like a strong figure that is coming in and loving on them and giving compassion, I can imagine just definitely brings wholeness to them. And just someone who's like, knows they didn't wake up and choose to live this life. Like sometimes it's just what's dealt with for them.
But also someone that just doesn't know much about their life, having an outsider's perspective, but also having someone to look up to as well, which is obviously yourself.
It's so easily done because, I had a moment when I was growing up as a teenager where I started to sort of go off the rails a little bit. And when I got in trouble with the police, I remember the disappointment on my mum's face. It was almost as if someone had put a drive the stake through her heart. That cut me to bits. And that was it. I thought, okay, I don't want to see my mum
like that. Was
enough to stop me and change me.
A lot of kids don't have that, I guess.
Don't have that,
exactly.
Because they're hurt already. They're hurt deeper.
It just makes your heart melt for like the job that we have as parents, doesn't it? That like it is a really serious job.
You're still doing
it's the most important one you'll ever have.
Definitely.
There's nothing more important than being a parent, especially in the current climate in the world. The world is going like... Gosh, it's so scary, the world right now. And so, good parents are needed more than ever now, like to nurture their children and try to navigate them through the shit show what is the world right now.
The chaos.
I totally agree.
So what would you tell your younger self if you could do it again, or if you could look back?
It's going to be quite a straightforward
parent.
and boring and an easy answer, I'm afraid. And that's just going to be have children with less women. because as much as I wouldn't sort of change anything in hindsight, the thing is, it's been so difficult. It's hard work.
Of course it is.
Trying to replicate just, had they been under maybe two women would have been, that would have been fine. 4 children with 2 women, that would have been cool.
But
It's a lot. It's a lot.
You set yourself up for a lot of work.
You were like, I need some work.
And I probably would have less children as well. As much as I love having 4 children, I'm broke.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I think each child equates to what 400k. I don't know what's the figure nowadays. And at one point it was 250k. But I reckon it's probably closer to like 400k now per child. Like, and I've got 4.
And
so
until you're
broke.
they're still going to be there, and they're still going to be your responsibility.
when my dad passed away, throughout his whole entire life, he's a professor, he's an entrepreneur. Throughout his whole entire life, he would be like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a billionaire. Like,
was he Nigerian by any chance?
I will have successful businesses. And as he was dying, he said, I'm not rich, but I am a billionaire because I have you.
Oh. I'm going to cry now. Well, on that note. Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick, for coming in.
Thank you, Patrick.
My pleasure. That is probably the best podcast I've ever been on.